What's up, everybody? I just picked up this new 2020 Dodge Promaster High roof. It's a 159 wheelbase. If you're watching this video, you probably saw my last build. If not, I'll put the link in the description below. But that one came out really nice. I had a lot of good feedback. And then I listed it for sale and it sold in like 2 weeks. So I'm gonna build this one a little bit bigger, a little bit better, and this will be for sale as well at the end. And I'm gonna do like a 30-part video series showing the whole build from today, day one, all the way to the end. So today I'm gonna head to Home Depot. I'm gonna pick up some lumber for the subfloor, and hopefully by the end of today I'll have the subfloor framing 100% done, and then tomorrow I can start on the insulation on the floor, and I'll show you guys the whole process. Alright, so this is what I ended up with. I got these 2x2s, which I believe are actually 1.5 inches actual size. Last time, because they don't have wood this thickness, I ended up doing 1.5 inch foam insulation, and just wasted a lot of space. It was overkill, and I ended up losing some ceiling height. So this time I'm gonna go with, I think this is 1 inch insulation, and then I'm just gonna rip all these down to 1 inch height, which would be a little extra work, but it's gonna be worth it to not waste all that space on the ceiling height. So little things you learn from each build, you know, make it a little better each one. So we're gonna get to work, catch up with you in a sec. Okay, well that took forever. I think I need a new blade on the table saw, but got a few done, can get started. All right, well that was pretty tedious and boring, but got all the framing in for the subfloor. Next step is to cut the insulation. Okay, so now that we got all the subfloor framing in, the next step is to put in the insulation, and then on top of that, the subfloor plywood. But you don't want to do it in that order, and I'll tell you why. Once you get all your insulation in and you have the vapor barrier taped off, it's going to be really hard to work with the plywood because you can't really walk on the insulation. So you're like tiptoeing around on the framing to try and scribe your plywood. So what you want to do is scribe all the plywood first, get it in place, don't nail it down or screw it down, then remove it, put your insulation in, and then put the plywood back in and screw it down and finish it. Makes it a lot easier. So now I've got to scribe this piece in. I've got this 9 inches here. So I made this little scribe out of a piece of plywood, which is exactly 9 inches here. So when I scribe over here, it should fit right in place. Okay, so you can see that scribe worked out really well, pretty clean. Just a little off right there in that corner. So instead of scribing all over again in the second one, I'm just gonna use that as a template, flip it over for the other piece. I'll try to tighten up that one little spot there, because this side's identical to the other side. So I just used a little bit of tape there to tighten up that corner. Now I can use that as my template for the other side. Okay, so that all came out pretty clean. Nice even edges. Just bowed up right there because it's not screwed in yet. So now I can pull that out, put the insulation in, and then that should go right back in and fit in perfectly, and I won't tear up the insulation. Okay, so I got all the insulation cut and in place here now. I might just hit these little cracks with some spray foam insulation. I actually used a table saw this time, and normally I just cut it with a razor blade like you would sheetrock, but table saw just made perfect cuts. It was really nice. Made a little bit of a mess though, but. So now I'm just gonna tape all the seams over the wood with some vapor barrier tape, and then I'll be ready to put the plywood on top. We've got the vapor barrier done. Everything's all taped off. Starting to look like we've accomplished something. And I'm ready for the plywood subfloor now. About to start putting the plywood in. What I like to do is mark where the studs are with some blue tape, so that once I put the plywood in, I know where everything is. Okay, everything's in. That's it for today. Like, subscribe, follow me on Instagram, and probably the next video will be putting up the furring strips, and then I'll get started on the wiring after that.